Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time we're going to be looking at
Yeah.
the connection between martial arts philosophy and mindfulness. So we've got this fascinating quote here from Yagyu Jubei Mitsuyoshi.
Oh.
He was a legendary swordsman and strategist
Mm.
from 17th century Japan. And he was known not only for his skill with a sword,
Mm-hmm.
but also for his deep understanding of the mind.
Interesting.
So the quote we're looking at today is, "The undisturbed mind is like the calm body of water which reflects the moon. The disturbed mind is like the rippling water in which the reflection is broken."
Okay, I like that.
So just from that, you can already see that Mitsuyoshi
Yeah.
wasn't just a fighter, he was a philosopher too.
Right.
He really understood the importance of having a calm and clear mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Not just for combat, but for life in general. So what do you think? How does this quote relate to the idea of mindfulness that we hear so much about these days?
Well, I think it's a really beautiful way to describe the essence of mindfulness. That idea of the undisturbed mind, being like a still pond reflecting the moon. It really captures that sense of peace and clarity that we can achieve through mindfulness practice and in martial arts training. Cultivating that calm and focused mind is absolutely essential
Mm.
for effective action.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because if your mind is racing or you're filled with fear or doubt, it's going to be very difficult to react quickly and decisively. And that can be the difference between success and failure
Right.
in a fight or even in everyday life.
Right. It's about being present and in the moment,
Exactly.
not getting caught up in all the distractions.
Yeah.
So how does this idea of an undisturbed mind play out in specific martial arts practices?
Well, there's a concept in Japanese martial arts known as mushin, which literally means no mind. And it's this state of awareness that is free from distracting thoughts and emotions.
Okay, no mind. So is that like completely emptying your mind?
It's not about blanking out completely. It's more about achieving a state of heightened awareness where you're not hindered by your own thoughts. So it's like you're
right.
able to act instinctively without overthinking or hesitating.
So it's more like getting out of your own way so
Exactly.
that you can respond clearly and effectively.
Yes.
And how do martial artists train to achieve this mushin state?
Well, a lot of it comes through rigorous practice,
Okay.
like repetitive drills and sparring, which helps to ingrain proper technique to the point where it becomes almost unconscious. So your mind is freed from having to consciously think about every movement. And this allows for a more spontaneous and fluid response.
Yeah, it's like when you're learning to drive. So
Yeah.
at first you have to think about every step.
Exactly.
But as you become more experienced, it becomes second nature.
Yeah.
You don't think about it anymore. You just react.
Yeah.
So this mushin idea, it's not just about fighting, is it?
No, definitely not.
Like, how can we apply this concept to everyday life?
Well, think about it. We all face challenges in our daily lives, whether it's a stressful meeting at work or a difficult conversation with a loved one. And in those moments, it's easy to get caught up in our own thoughts and emotions. We start overthinking things, we get anxious, we get angry, and that can cloud our judgment and lead us to make poor decisions.
Yeah, I've definitely been there. So how can we use these principles of mushin to handle those everyday challenges with more grace?
Well, just like in martial arts, it's about training our minds to be calm and focused,
Yeah.
even in the midst of chaos. So there are a lot of techniques we can use for this, such as mindful breathing,
Yeah.
meditation, and even just taking a moment to step back and observe our thoughts and emotions without judgment.
Mitsuyoshi's analogy of the disturbed mind being like rippling water is such a powerful image.
Yeah, it is.
Because it really highlights how our own thoughts and emotions can distort our perception of reality.
Right.
Like we're not seeing things clearly because we're letting those ripples get in the way. So what are some of the things that cause those ripples in your own life?
For me, it's often the constant influx of information, like, being bombarded with news and social media. It's easy to get swept up in that and lose sight of what's truly important. So I try to be mindful of how much time I'm spending online, and I make sure to disconnect regularly to give my mind a chance to rest and recharge.
That's really important. And it's something we can all be more mindful of
Yeah,
in
definitely.
this age of constant connectivity. So to wrap things up, I think the deep dive has given us a lot to think about in terms of how we can cultivate a more undisturbed mind in our own lives.
Absolutely.
It's a journey, not a destination. And it takes practice and commitment. But the rewards are definitely worth it.
I agree.
So for all of you listening out there, I encourage you to reflect on what causes those ripples in your own mind and to explore some of the techniques that we've discussed today for finding more calmness and clarity in your life.
you know? And maybe even try incorporating some martial arts principles into your daily routine. You might be surprised at the difference it makes.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.